The red on light dies mid-phrase. Prince's mouth is still moving, the band still locked in, but the sound drops out of the broadcast feed. Live television, packed venue. The anchor detail is unmistakable, a handheld microphone that has just gone dead in his palm. For half a second, the room doesn't understand what's happened. Then the silence hits, sharp enough to feel. Prince doesn't look toward the sound booth. He doesn't tap the mic. He doesn't panic. He lifts his chin and keeps going. Freeze that frame. Nighttime, live audience, cameras rolling. The turning point object is the microphone, now useless, hanging at his side. The stakes detonate instantly. Control of the moment, authority over a live broadcast, the difference between being embarrassed by silence and commanding it. Days earlier, the rules were already tense. Live television had its own hierarchy. Producers over performers, schedules over spontaneity, standards departments hovering over anything that felt unpredictable. Prince was unpredictable by design. According to accounts, rehearsals had included discussions about time limits, language, volume. The microphone wasn't just a tool, it was a leash. Everyone in the room understood that. At soundcheck, Prince had tested the limits. He leaned away from the mic, then back in. He sang low, then sharp. The anchor detail stays fixed, that microphone and how closely the system watched it. A producer reportedly reminded the crew, "We're live." Prince nodded, eyes unreadable, fingers already finding a rhythm on the guitar. When the performance begins, the broadcast feels controlled at first. Prince steps into the light, mic in hand, band tight behind him. The anchor detail is the cable trailing from the microphone across the stage floor, a visible line of connection and dependence. He sings into it, voice clean, confident. Somewhere off stage, a control board glows. Then it happens. The mic cuts. No feedback squeal, no warning pop, just absence. Some say it was a technical glitch. Others claim someone made a call. According to accounts, the exact cause was never publicly clarified. What matters is the result. Prince standing in silence, live. The crowd murmurs. Camera operators hesitate. This is the moment performers usually flinch, tap the mic, look confused, wait for rescue. Prince doesn't. He steps closer to the edge of the stage. The anchor detail shifts from the dead microphone to his body language. He sings anyway. No amplification, just breath, mouth, motion. You can see it on the footage. He exaggerates the phrasing, shaping words the audience can't hear. Then he stops singing altogether. He lets the silence stretch. That silence becomes the weapon. The room leans forward. The band keeps playing, drums and guitar filling the space the voice used to occupy. Prince raises his free hand, palm open, conducting the absence. This is where the backfill snaps into place. Prince had spent years fighting contracts, fighting labels, fighting anyone who tried to decide how his voice should be heard. The microphone being cut, intentionally or not, was the oldest power move in the book. Remove the voice, regain control. What the system didn't account for was his fluency in non-compliance. The silence grows uncomfortable. On live television, silence is danger. Producers reportedly scramble. The anchor detail returns to the sound booth, hands moving fast, eyes darting between monitors. Prince doesn't give them the relief of reaction. He doesn't plead, he doesn't stop the song. He stares straight into the camera, microphone still dead, daring the feed to blink first. In the venue, people start clapping to the beat. They're not responding to sound, they're responding to tension. The anchor detail is the audience's hands filling the void left by the microphone. Prince smiles, just slightly. Not triumph, recognition. He has shifted the power. The cliff edge forms as the silence stretches past what live television is trained to tolerate. Someone, somewhere, has to decide. Bring the mic back and concede control, or cut away and admit defeat. Prince holds the moment open, balanced on the absence of sound, making the silence louder than any lyric. The camera stays on him, the band keeps playing, the microphone remains dead, and the system has seconds left to choose who owns this moment.
The next 10 seconds feel longer than the entire set.
The anchor detail remains the same, the microphone still dead in Prince's hand while the band plays on. In the control room, producers count silently, eyes fixed on the waveform that refuses to move. On stage, Prince pivots, not toward the booth, but toward the drummer, giving a small nod that says, "Keep it steady." The silence isn't empty anymore, it's organized. At rehearsal the night before, according to accounts, Prince had joked about what happens when the plug gets pulled. No one laughed long. The anchor detail then had been the same handheld mic, tested and retested. Live television had rules, and one of them was simple. Sound is king. Take it away, and you own the panic. Prince had rehearsed panic's opposite. Back in the moment, the camera cuts tighter. The anchor detail shifts to Prince's mouth, forming lyrics no one at home can hear. He mouths a line, then stops mid-word and points the microphone toward the audience, inviting them into the silence. It's a provocation without sound. In the venue, people shout lyrics back. On the broadcast, all that comes through is band and breathless anticipation. The escalation accelerates. A stage manager appears at the wing, holding another microphone. The anchor detail is unmistakable, a second mic offered like a lifeline. Prince sees it and shakes his head once. No. He steps away from it. The refusal is visible, undeniable. He's not asking for the sound back. He's telling the system he doesn't need it. In the control room, someone reportedly says, "Bring him back up." Another voice counters, "We can't, it's not cleared." The anchor detail is the delay, the bureaucracy grinding against a live moment. Prince senses it. He raises his guitar and plays a riff so sharp it feels vocal. The band follows. The guitar becomes the mouthpiece. The microphone dangles, mute and exposed. The crowd responds instinctively. They clap on the one. They chant. The anchor detail returns to the audience noise swelling to fill the gap the mic left behind. Prince turns the dead microphone upside down, taps it against his thigh once, not to test it, but to mark time. It's a gesture that reads clearly on camera. The object meant to control him has lost authority. Then he does something riskier. He stops the band. With a raised fist, he cuts them off mid-bar. The anchor detail now is total silence. No voice, no instruments, no broadcast safety net. Live television freezes. Prince stands alone in the quiet, mic still dead, eyes scanning the room. He holds it for a beat, then another. You can feel the producers begging the moment to end. This is where hierarchy breaks. Silence on live TV isn't neutral, it's an alarm. Prince uses it like a scalpel. He leans forward, lips close to the dead mic, and whispers. The audience hears him faintly. The broadcast does not. The anchor detail is cruelly precise. The closest he gets to the microphone is the moment it refuses to function. He pulls back, satisfied. At rehearsal earlier, a producer had warned about dead air. The anchor detail then had been a clipboard note. Now, dead air is the point. Prince snaps his fingers, brings the band back in with a downbeat, and dances, hard, defiant, letting movement replace voice. The camera can't look away. The silence has become choreography. Off stage, the spare mic is lowered. Someone backs away. The anchor detail is retreat. The system realizes that restoring sound now would look like surrender. Prince has already won the frame. He pivots to the edge of the stage again, holding the microphone up to the lights as if presenting evidence. It doesn't work. That's the message. The escalation crests as the clock ticks. Broadcast schedules are unforgiving. Someone has to decide whether to fade out or restore the mic. Prince feels the countdown and presses harder. He cues a breakdown, stripping the song to drums and bass. The anchor detail remains the dead mic, now slung over his shoulder like a relic. The band locks in, the audience locks in, the broadcast locks up. Prince steps back to center stage and raises one finger, signaling one last beat. He closes his eyes. The silence returns for a final stretch, shorter this time, but loaded. He opens them and stares into the lens, daring the switch.
This is the brink. Either the sound comes back and admits the silence was power, or the feed cuts and admits the performer was. The microphone hasn't made a sound yet. Prince hasn't asked it to. The next second decides everything.
The sound snaps back without ceremony. No flourish, no apology. 1 second, the microphone is dead. The next, it's alive again. Prince's breath rushing through it before any lyric does. That timing is the exact action. The exact reaction is immediate. Prince doesn't resume singing. He lets the mic live while he stays silent for one more beat, forcing the system to sit in the consequence of its own decision. Then he speaks. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough for the room and the broadcast to hear. According to accounts, he says a single line, something minimal, something pointed, before launching back into the song. The anchor detail is the microphone finally working and Prince choosing how to use it. The power has flipped. The band explodes back in. The guitar tears through the mix, louder than before. Prince sings now, but with a different posture, shoulders squared, eyes fixed forward. The silence he weaponized hasn't disappeared, it's still hanging behind every note. The audience roars, not because the sound is back, but because they saw who controlled its absence. Backstage, the spare microphone is forgotten. The anchor detail is the original mic, now back in Prince's grip, no longer a leash. Producers stop counting seconds and start watching the performance they almost lost. The broadcast rides it out to the end, unwilling to cut away after conceding ground. When the song ends, Prince doesn't thank the audience. He doesn't acknowledge the crew. He raises the microphone once, almost casually, then sets it on the stage floor and walks off. That gesture, placing the mic down instead of handing it over, becomes the final punctuation. The object that was cut has been rendered optional. The aftermath starts immediately. In control rooms and green rooms, people replay the moment in stunned fragments. The anchor detail is the replay footage of Prince singing into silence, then stopping the band cold. Some call it a technical hiccup turned genius. Others quietly admit the mic cut shouldn't have happened the way it did. According to accounts, no official explanation ever fully satisfies. The next morning, industry chatter reframes the incident. The language shifts from malfunction to moment. The anchor detail, the dead microphone, becomes shorthand for resistance. Engineers debate safeguards. Producers add notes about redundancy. Performers talk about trust. Prince's name sits at the center of every version of the story. In interviews weeks later, Prince doesn't address it directly. He never needed to. The anchor detail is his silence off stage, mirroring the silence on stage. He releases music on his own terms. He shows up when he wants. Live television adjusts around him. The system learns that cutting a mic doesn't guarantee control over the room. According to people who were there, the audience that night didn't remember the lyrics as much as the pause. They remembered leaning forward, realizing the absence was intentional. The anchor detail remains that stretch of dead air that felt longer than it was. Silence became content. Content became leverage. The meaning sharpens with time. This wasn't a tantrum. It wasn't improvisation alone. It was literacy in power. Prince understood that live television fears nothing more than emptiness. By refusing to fill it on command, he exposed who actually panics when control slips. In the weeks that follow, other performers reference the moment obliquely. Some try to recreate it and fail, mistaking silence for emptiness instead of intent. The anchor detail, Prince's stillness with a dead mic, remains singular because it required absolute confidence. You can't weaponize silence unless you're willing to own what happens inside it. Years later, the clip circulates again, stripped of context but not impact. Viewers argue about whether the mic was cut deliberately or not. That debate misses the point. The anchor detail isn't the cause, it's the response. Prince didn't need certainty to act, he needed presence. The brutal closing truth lands clean. In an industry built on amplification, the most dangerous thing you can do is prove you don't need it. They cut Prince's microphone live. He didn't panic. He taught the room what silence can do when it belongs to the artist.